Hey guys, what's going on? Hope everybody is doing well. I am up late working on a lot of stuff with the organization, and I just said, let me knock out a few topics because you guys are always crying about these presentations. Oh, it's so difficult. I don't know how to do it. What am I gonna do? Oh my gosh. So I was like, hey, let me just knock out a few. So anyhow, let's talk about mitigating risk, assessing risk, and mitigating risk. And so, I just read a little bit in the chapter to refresh, which is what I expect you guys to do. And so, when you look at it from the chapter's perspective in the Pilot Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge, it pretty much just talks about how you assess risk. And they have a system, they have a matrix, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, but that's another topic. Anyways, so yeah, they have a matrix which is essentially something that comes from within that gives rise to something else. And so the matrix that they use to assess risk basically breaks it down into two categories. It breaks it down into the likelihood of something happening and the consequences of it happening. And for the likelihood of something happening, there is probable, there is occasional, there's remote, and there's improbable. So pretty much all they're saying is that whatever it is going to happen or it's not going to happen, and in between, and you rate it. Hey, there's going to be a squall line of thunderstorms. How likely is that going to happen? Improbable or probable? So you list it, and then you list the consequences, and then you come up with scores, and there's different types, and essentially they're saying that's a way to assess risk. Now, we don't really use that way in this organization at this time. Formally, we don't have a form, but I think it's not a bad idea. That's probably an assignment we could work on. So there's that. But from a more practical standpoint, or I could say more familiar standpoint, when we talk about assessing risk, I think about threat and error management on a larger scheme of things, and thinking about what's the worst thing that can happen, what are several things that can happen, what are several negative things that can happen within any given scenario from experience, and you list those out, and then you list ways to protect yourself against them, and you have tools like the I'm safe checklist and the PAVE checklist to keep you categorized into the different areas of consideration. And furthermore, to take it to another level, when you're talking about assessing risk and mitigating risk, I think about, what does the FAA say? What am I operating under? Am I operating under Part 91, Part 135, Part 121? What are the relevant rules that dictate what I should do? Boom. You have that. What is the company rules dictate what I should do? What are my personal minimums dictate that I should do? And am I under any sort of influence or hazardous attitudes or operational pitfalls or any other external factors that could sway? Put all of that together, like I like to say, in that big pot and stir that around, and then you come up with your answer. And so I think that's a part of judgment. We always have these pearls of wisdom. We are the cumulative result of our last set of decisions up to the very breath that we breathe. And so you take these decisions carefully and you use your resources to try to come up with answers as well. And so assessing risk, you have the matrices or matrix system. Then you also have just good old risk management, taking into consideration all those different factors. And so that's how I think about risk management, not risk management, but assessing risk and mitigating risk as well. Oh, and by the way, first and foremost, those camera angles were awful. I'll look in the camera next time. Secondly, I intentionally decided to jump in front of the camera because you guys make a big deal out of jumping in front of the camera, reading it, understanding it, sharing it. It's not difficult to do. I'm setting the example. There's so many other things I could be doing. It's a sacrifice to do it. You guys are going to have to sacrifice and get this knowledge, share this knowledge, become proficient, and get moving with your dreams. It's all in your hands. God bless. Study buddies. Let's
Study
go.
buddies, let's go.